Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. Happy to have a return appearance from one of our theater experts, chief cooks and bottle washers and everything in between, Joey Landwehr. He's the Education and Outreach Associate for Broadway San Diego. He's also an actor and does everything that's theater related. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
It's just great to have you back, joined by my co-host, Sophia Lee. She is a phenomenal student filmmaker and has been doing a marvelous job co-hosting the Spotlight shows. Sophia, it's all yours.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the mission and the work that you do with this program.
Oh, we have so many things going on at Broadway San Diego right now. So I am the brand new Education and Outreach Associate, and we're creating initiatives for our 48th season and utilizing them now in our 47th season. On top of that, for the last 12 years, I've been artistic director for the Broadway San Diego Awards, which we're getting ready to do again on May 25th. And that is sort of like our favorite thing of the entire year. We do so many things, but it is the one thing where we get the opportunity to work with youth in San Diego, across San Diego County, and two very talented, lucky, grateful young people get to go to New York and have their Broadway dreams fulfilled.
You know, full disclosure, and I'm not sure if we've ever talked about this, my longtime friend and colleague ran Broadway San Diego for many, many years. And of course, San Diego Playgoers when he moved over from the Old Globe, Joe Cobriner. Did you know Joe?
Joe hired me as artistic director before he moved to Hawaii.
Beautiful. So how come we never crossed paths about that? I'm up to Doc Joe's pace. So Sophia, Joe and I have known each other for many, many years. We met in 1992 when he was at the Old Globe and then got hired by San Diego Playgoers, which morphed over to Broadway San Diego, a Nederlander production and so forth. Guy's just a spectacular guy, yes. Full of life. He'd always travel to at least 4 times a year. I think it was about 4 times a year to Hawaii, and now he's there permanently. So I cannot wait to send him this link to the show. He's just a great guy on this. So talk a little bit about Nederlander, and they're at the top of their game when it comes to theater.
Boy, I'll tell you, I am so grateful. I've been working as Education and Outreach Associate for about 9 months there, full time, and it's a whole new world that has opened up to me, and I've loved every moment of it. Just last night, we had a production of Hamilton. Hamilton opened on Tuesday, and last night and the night before, Hamilton worked with our Broadway Bridges Association, our new initiative. And they brought 52 young people from Title I schools to see Hamilton from front row. Oh. And they didn't have to pay anything because I also found us 2 underwriters to support what their costs would have been. So they got to see it for free.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Hamilton?
I have. It's amazing.
What did you like most about it?
Ooh,
That's a loaded question. So.
I think all of the characterization and how they were written. Yeah, it's very cool to see them interact with each other.
Now, did you see it here in San Diego or did you see it on Broadway?
I saw the movie first, and then I saw it in the West End.
Oh my goodness. Nice,
yeah.
nice. Which did you like better? Say the live stage production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although it's hard to beat Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Is.
Yeah. No, I think that's... how many times have you seen it?
Gosh, I would say 4 or 5 times.
Right.
It's magical. When it first came out, I was like, oh, this is not because it's not really my style of music, but I fell in love with it. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out, so we got to go. I think when it first came, absolutely. You know, Broadway San Diego certainly has brought in just unbelievable plays, theater performances. to San Diego, for many, many, many years under San Diego Playgoers and now Broadway San Diego. But what your world is was my world, and that is really working on the education aspect. Having worked with city schools for many years and now involved in everything and deals with the school districts. How many schools and kids will go through a season, so to speak, and see plays?
Well, we're hoping to make it even more than that.
That's right.
My main goal, I'm giving to myself in this new position, is that every single young person in San Diego County school districts sees a Broadway caliber production before they graduate. That's my goal.
There's 500,000 of them.
There you go.
Now, are you working we work very closely in the Classroom of the Future Foundation, which I've been heavily involved in since it started in 97. We were pretty much looked at as an extension of the County Office of Education. Are you working with the county office? Do you work with all the other districts? All of the above?
All of the above. It's a process, right?
It is.
We're starting to build this new position and the new initiatives that we're doing and connect with the schools.
Right.
I have a small list that keeps growing every single day.
Right.
So this is very helpful. So hopefully people will hear this, and then those calls will start coming in from schools to say, I'd like to be a part of those programs so that we can make them bigger and reach out to further.
And we can certainly help you with that. There's no question about it. What are the Broadway San Diego Awards? How long they've been doing it, and what's the premise behind them?
Well, I have been artistic director for 12 years. They've been doing it for 12 years.
Right. Okay. That's 12 years. Okay, right.
Since the inception, I've been a part of it, and it's the joy of my entire year. How it works, during the entire season, I get to curate a series of adjudicators. And these adjudicators go out and see every high school production that puts themselves into the awards. And they adjudicate the production, they adjudicate the people that are eligible to be a part of it. And then from those adjudications, we bring those in, and then we cut it down to about 30, 35. Then just last weekend that we did this year, they bring in those 35 and they do a callback for a series of judges that are professionals from the industry. And we cut that down to 20. And then in 2 weeks, we start a rehearsal process where we rehearse for a week. They learn a brand new opening number, a brand new closing number, which are these epic, beautiful medleys that I put together with my cohort, Judy Grant and Kyle Blair, who are my music directors. And on top of that, they're also working on their showpiece that they got nominated for and a contrasting song. And then on the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, they come in and they perform all of this for audience and judges at the Balboa. And the first act is all 20. At intermission, it's cut down to 6. Those 6 perform their contrasting pieces. Then it's cut down to 2. Those 2 get to go to New York, and they perform on Broadway in the Minskoff Theater for peers and family members and coaches and agents, and many of them get gigs just from being there. And if they win, that's a whole nother echelon. They get to do so many wonderful things after that.
That is so. Were you in any theater performances when you were going to school?
Yeah, I've done theater. I've done a film course just for acting for the camera, which is definitely not Broadway.
It's very different.
And then a musical theater class.
My goodness. So have you ever thought about going into that genre? I know you're a filmmaker, but have you thought about doing a theater performance or directing or whatever?
Yeah, actually, the reason I started acting was to make myself a better director so that I can actually communicate with the people that I'm working with who are very theater-based in their backgrounds and love musical theater. So yeah, tell me more about some of the opportunities for student actors, young actors to get involved.
Oh my gosh! Well, so the education and outreach initiatives that we're creating this year is we're doing something called triple threat training. Which, if you know what a triple threat is, you have to be an actor, a singer, and a dancer to really
I know
make
from
it.
A sports thing, but I can figure it out from acting. Yeah.
I like to call it quadruple threat when I work with the kids because actor, singing, dancing, and compassion for the other people that are there.
No, that's important. Teamwork, right?
And so we bring students in, and we bring artists from the leading shows that come in, and they teach them what they know from the show, so they get it from the pros in the business. So that's something that we're doing, and we're also creating post-show talkbacks with the casts where you can come see the show and then be a part of it after. And pre-show sort of interesting tidbits about it, which is put together with one of our experts from USD, which is great.
Oh, great. Sophia?
Yeah, so to get involved with the Triple Threat program and then also to be able to see these talkbacks with the cast and crew, do you have to be a student? Do you have to pay? Do you have to go through your school, or is it open to anybody?
So the Triple Threat training, that's something that is taken on with school groups. So if the school group wants to come in and do that, then we work with them and find out which shows are able to do that. Not every show is able to. Sometimes they're just too busy because they have to put in rehearsals for understudies and things like that. But for instance, we're doing one for Hamilton on the 16th. For this wonderful group of people called Insignitas, which is adorable. It's a singing group in Insignitas. And they're coming down to his dance studio, and they're going to come in and learn the music from Hamilton. So it's about a group, and I reach out, and they reach out to me to make that happen. For the talkbacks, it's a scheduled talkback that we're going to have on our website that everyone will know about. And all you have to do is come and see that show, and then you come afterwards and sit in the audience and learn wonderful things and maybe get your question answered, which is really exciting. And I get to lead those talkbacks, which I'm having a blast doing. It's so fun.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we're chatting with Joey Landwehr, where he is the Education Outreach Associate for Broadway San Diego, talking about the Broadway San Diego Awards and everything in between. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We're in our 19th year, longest running community podcast in the nation, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. From food insecurity to financial literacy to visual performing arts, stay on the top of their game, joined by my co-host, Sophia Lee. She is an unbelievable student, a filmmaker. Talk a little bit about what's going on with Broadway Bridges San Diego.
This is one of the initiatives I'm most excited about. We're working with the Broadway League in New York City and the tours that are coming into the Civic Theater downtown. And they give us a certain amount of tickets that they're okay with us selling at a very deeply discounted rate. That's through the Broadway League as well. And then I reach out to schools, or they reach out to me saying that they're interested. And we work so that we can bring people in. And then my job is, fingers crossed, is to reach out to people that are interested in supplementing that small amount that we are asking the students or the school to have to pay in case it's a school that doesn't have the means. And if that can happen, then they get to go and see the show completely for free. And sometimes, not always, it depends on the show, we might be able to do a backstage tour, or we might be able to do a meet and greet after the show. But it all depends on the show and the makeup of the production and how long the show is. Hamilton was almost 3 hours long. We didn't do anything afterwards. They need to get some sleep for the next day of school.
Right.
And also the actors need to get some sleep for the next day of shows. Right. But for some of the shows, I see that happening in the future. And we're really working hard to integrate that education as much as possible.
Yeah, we come back from break. I want to talk a bit more about that. I cannot talk enough about theater when it comes to curriculum, because you can teach every single subject under the sun. Joy, you and I may have chatted about this before. Math, science, language arts, physics, construction, everything just by theater.
Absolutely.
And, one of the things I want to do is address that. I know you talk about it as well. And then save some time for whatever we can do to support your efforts. Obviously, go to plays, donate, make a connection with the schools and so forth. And I know Sophia has a bunch more questions for you as well when we return with Joey Landwehr. He is the Education and Outreach Associate for Broadway San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. This is another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting, and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. So good to have my friend, colleague, Joey Landwehr in the studio. Joey is the Education and Outreach Associate for Broadway San Diego. He's been on the show talking about many performances that he's been involved in as well, joined by my co-host, Sophia Lee, a student, a filmmaker. So I'm going to start with you on this, and then I would want to get Sophia's thoughts on it as well, as being a filmmaker. A lot of the same similarities of what we're doing and being in theater as well. But you can teach everything under the sun from a curriculum standpoint, through theater, correct?
Oh, so absolutely, 100%. It's amazing how it bleeds into every part of the scholarly aspects of your life. It really does.
History, language arts. But, one of the things I think it's great, obviously, how long you been acting or into this? Since you were 0?
I've been a union actor since I was 18, so that was so years ago. And so I would say I've been in the industry for at least 35 years.
Yeah, exactly. But you are comfortable being, I'm assuming you're comfortable being in front of audiences.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
But one of the other things that I think that theater does as well, whether you're just, anyone can be an actor, it gives you a voice. Talk about how important it is to have a voice, especially for a student in these sort of mental health challenged days we're in.
Absolutely. I've worked for so many years with youth in theater, and I've had young people come from all different walks of life, people that are on the spectrum, people that have challenges physically and mentally and emotionally, and they come in, and theater gives them something to focus on, and it gives them something to delve into that's not about them. It's about sort of connecting with something else bigger than they are. And when that happens, it's like this big light opens up for them, and they see the world in a different way, and they feel like they're able to be a part of something that the world has said, no, you can't be a part of that in other aspects of their life. And it's amazing how they just bloom like you'd never imagine.
Well, that's so spot on you say that. I'll pivot over to Sophia in a second here. We have a strong relationship with the San Diego County Office of Education because of Classroom of the Future. And the superintendent, a new superintendent, Gloria Cerisa, is on our board. And her whole focus is belonging in this world of mental health challenges and all that business. So, Sophia, you're I know you hate for me to say this, but I'll say it anyway, expert student filmmaker, because you are. All right. But how has that helped you with the skill sets that you may not have had before you got into filmmaking?
I think it's a lot about a place of empathy. I do a lot of films about addiction, about mental health. And when you write about these things, you have to think about it from the person's perspective and then also society's perspective. What makes somebody not normal versus normal? So it's helped me to be a more empathetic, thoughtful person who's more engaged with these issues that are going on today. And then I think as an actor, I know that you're an actor, it helps a lot with empathy as well, because you get to explore all of these different people. You can really see what it's like to be them through the acting, through the stage. Do you find that happens a lot to the students who participate in these programs?
It's so interesting that you mention empathy, because that is a huge part. Empathy and compassion is what I feel in my world I have to teach, because it's not a part of who we are anymore. And for instance, when I did a production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now you would see that as a big giant musical, but there's a lot of stuff going on in that musical. And I had my dear friend, Denise, she's a doctor. She works in the prison system up in SLO. And she came down and she told this story about how her brother was killed as a teenager by someone that was dealing drugs. And then and they put him in prison. And years later, she came back and she fought to get him out, even though he had killed her brother, because she empathized in his work because he was just a kid when it happened to him.
Right.
And for have that educational component on top of what we're doing, that's when the skills come together and really mingle.
Yeah, and again, the beauty of it is, I loved when I was working for San Diego Unified a zillion years ago. We worked pretty closely with the VAPA coordinator at the time, but to see how people are brought together, everybody has some type of skill within them. They may not think it's a skill, okay? And it's going to vary, You like to be in front of the camera, you don't like to be. You like to be behind the camera. You like to write, you don't like to write. And there's something for everybody in this genre that you're doing, and of course that Sophia's doing as well on this. And when you see this, and you've been doing this for a while now with the Broadway San Diego Awards, the one you've been doing for 12 years now. We're at the ground floor on this. Have any of those students come back and won a Tony Award? Have any of them done great productions yet, Joey?
Yeah, well, so no Tony Awards yet, but there's a feeling, right. Yes. I have a feeling that it was going to happen soon, but from San Diego anyway. But for instance, this particular year, Jackie Foster, who she was on our very first production 12 years ago. She did not win, but she was runner-up. And after that, she went to be on The Voice, and she worked with Alicia Keys. Wow. And she started her songwriting career. Now she lives in LA. And I called her and asked her if she would come down and co-host the show with me this year. And she so graciously said yes. And we're going to talk a little bit on stage. She doesn't know this yet, but we're talk a little bit on stage about the things that she has achieved since her time with us 12 years ago. And the things that she's achieved are huge. You might not know about them 100% because she hasn't been in San Diego. But in LA, she's just moving and shaking and creating music. And it's incredible to watch this young girl who was just a teenager when I met her and who is now 12 years older, and watch her just thrive in what she loves. And she's just an amazing young person.
Yeah, I love your vision. You were talking about this earlier, Joey, and it's spot on, that every student will have some type of an experience of a live performance. And one thing I'd like to say is that whether it's at Broadway San Diego or OCT or Scripps Ranch Theater or the million other places that they can do it, it's just important for them to get involved. And, whether they're on the stage or whether they're behind the scenes, there's just something for that. And I think what's important, one of the groups I'm involved with, Classroom of the Future Foundation, is all focused on college and career pathways. We want students to have the ability and the opportunity to go to college. Whether they do or not is up to them, right? Sure. But we don't want to sit there and shut them down because they didn't take their coursework to go to college. But with career pathways, and you and I think might have touched about this before. I'd love to get Sophia's feedback on it. Sophia participated in one of our events. It was the 8th annual College and Career Pathways Summit. Classroom of the Future put on, and she was a panelist and just killed it. No surprise. With nice. Some of her colleagues, and that's why she's doing this and 4 billion other things for us at Cloudcast Media. But talk about how many different careers could come out of theater?
So I'm so happy that you asked me this. I'm giddy with excitement. I can't even tell you. So one, we have to talk more because one of my initiatives, one I want to bring forth through the next season, we're thinking around the time of when Les Mis gets here, just because that's a show that everybody loves, is we want to introduce young people to all of the different opportunities that theater has. I think people see, they're actors or they're songwriters or they're, people that do lighting. That's it. No, there's so much else. I went to speak to a classroom. That's another one of the initiatives. I go into classrooms and talk to them about how to go to the theater and what you're going to learn. And we were talking about Wicked because we had a group coming. And I asked them, I said, how many people do you think it takes to create one performance of Wicked? And they're like, there's 30 people on stage, so maybe 60 or 50. No, it takes 212 people just to do one performance of Wicked. That includes, the box office managers and the people that are in there doing the sessions, selling the touring information and the lighting designer and the sound people and the people that are doing the lifts and the flies. And they were just agog. And I had one young person said, "Can I do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Well, you're spot on. And offline, you and I are going to get together. I'm going to introduce you to the Classroom of the Future Foundation. Again, I've been involved in it for 25 years. We're housed at the Linda Vista Innovation Center. It's all about pathways. on him. And I use this example all the time, Joey, and I think Sophia knows this, maybe not. I spent 20 plus years running community and public relations for the Union Tribune. And at our heyday, there were like 2,100 employees, 2,400, I can't remember. 1/8 of them were writers. 7/8 did everything but write. They were either selling the paper, marketing the paper, advertising the paper, delivering the paper, doing the graphics, doing the accounting, doing what I did, promoting the paper. 7/8 of the people that worked for the paper did not write for the paper.
Yeah.
And so, I know
the unsung heroes.
Well, but it's the same thing in theater. The same thing probably as you've experienced. And thank you very much again, Sophia, for being on that great student panel, because you've encouraged us that we're going to have a student panel every single time, in that area. And especially in the field that you're going to be doing, which is who knows where it's going to be with student filmmaking. There's 75,000 different jobs with that, is it not?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I mean, jobs that are even hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
That is so true. As we wrap up here, Joey, what can our listeners do to support your efforts in Broadway San Diego?
Well, first they can go to broadwaysd.com/education and check out all the things we have to offer. And if you're a parent of a child and you want your school to be a part of it, let your school know and have them contact me. And also get your tickets to the Broadway San Diego Awards. I will tell you, it is the one night of theater where you can go and be I'm not a sports person, but you can go and be a sports person, right? You can go and root for your team, your person, and just give it your all. And I'll tell you, the kids, the students, the artists that are on that stage, I get the joy of working with some of the most talented people in Southern California. And I get to work with them and help mold them after what their beautiful teachers have done, but help mold them into the next stars of Broadway. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do all of that.
And what day is it?
That is on Sunday, May 25th. It's the Sunday Memorial Day weekend. Right. We do it every year.
And the website so they can get engaged is?
broadwaysd.com/education.
Well, Joey, listen, we're just getting started here because as you're in your new role, we're going to have you on minimum once a quarter to talk, and bringing in a school, bringing in a superintendent, bringing in a principal, bringing in a student that has just benefited from what you're doing. And we're going to get to your 500,000 students that are going to see sometime during their K through or TK through 12th grade year. How's that sound?
I am all in 100%, my friend.
Very good. Joey Landwehr, he is the Education Outreach Associate for Broadway San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are in our 19th year, the longest running community podcast in the nation, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County. Sophia Lee, we're just so grateful that you're enjoying this co-hosting. We're the beneficiary of this. I'm not sure if you are, but we are. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.